Hello and bon dia. Welcome or welcome back to In Love with Madeira. This is a podcast where you get insights all around living on Madeira, a tiny Portuguese island located in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. I'm Catherine, and with me here is Mark. And in these episodes, we're having casual conversations around different topics where we share our thoughts and our personal experiences. And today, we're diving into the nitty gritty of buying a house or land here on Madeira. Hi, Mark. Good to see
Hi.
you again.
Yes, excited again, Catherine. It's the fourth time uh,
Yes.
we are doing this, and again, the so lovely to see how people are sharing this video, our videos with others, and are responding on that. And I got some messages also from my community, who for my personal community, that they are really excited and they really want to come to Madeira again. And after your last topic about renting, they were really fond about the first tip you gave us, about just going to somebody, a real estate agent that sells a house, and just ask, "Hey, is there
Yeah.
some? Is it possible to rent?" And I can imagine that is great, right? And if you didn't see it, check out the last video about that, because it was a great video. But it's great. You call just one real estate agent, and
And it worked.
he has. But even if it doesn't work with the house you want, there
Mhm.
are other houses, so he can ask all his clients, right? and
Mhm,
and
mhm,
and for him or her, it's even better, because they take a fee on renting it out, and then
mhm,
a fee later they take it when they sell it. So
mhm.
of course, it only works when you want to live there temporarily. But
Yeah.
Catherine, in the last video, you also mentioned a really good tip, that it's also possible to rent it for a longer term. I think you did 2 or 3 years, something like that, right?
Yes,
So
exactly.
yeah, so I love those tips. And well, today we're going to talk what you said about buying a house or an apartment, or a piece of land,
Yeah,
and what
exactly. And
yeah.
you're the one more experienced in this field,
Mm.
which is why I will ask you now, what was your first ever experience here on Madeira when you bought your apartment?
Yeah, well, it was a great experience, because what was the great experience? I went there to buy something. That was the goal. So
Mm.
I lived in the Netherlands, and I said to a girlfriend, "Okay, I'm going there for a week or 10 days, and I will come back with something we've bought." And so that was the goal. And uh, before that, I went just online through how's that website called? The biggest website.
Relax.
No, the other one.
Idealista?
Idealista. Idealista. Thank you. I just
Mhm.
went on Idealista, and every house I liked, in the area I liked, I just sent an email through the real estate agent through that to Idealista. So it was really like, not like you told me last week, right? Getting to know somebody, and
Mm.
and no, it was just like you can only do when you don't know
Mhm.
anybody on the island, and just want to find something. Um, but it at first it was a little bit hard, because not every real estate agent is sending you a message back.
Mm.
And that's something I've learned really quick. That's not something that I've been. That's not my experience in the Netherlands, where I come from. In the Netherlands, they respond within a half an hour, or 15 minutes, or well,
Yeah.
when there's a good time, they don't respond either. Um, but here, it was not that I was looking for an apartment or a house in Funchal. I was looking for an apartment in the area of Machico, or Machico itself. So So that was surprising for me and a little bit frustrated. So I need to keep up a list who responded and who didn't respond. But at the end, I think I saw a few houses also up the mountain in Machico, and and what I saw is that there is a big difference between older houses and newer houses. And
Mm.
older houses can be beautiful, and the most areas are beautiful, but you have to do a lot about those houses. And I think, well, I found, I think it's for when you just have to live there and you don't have any contacts yet. It's better to buy a newer house or a newer apartment. So that's what I did, because when you have to create a lot of things, you need building, you need builders. Of course, I know now, just a few years later, that it's really easy to find those people. But in that time, I didn't know. So for me, it felt safer to to buy something new. What I always also thought is, and what I've learned is that buying a house, that's great. You have a garden and you have more private space, because especially on Madeira, there are a lot of free, how do you say that, one built houses. So you don't have a
Mhm.
direct neighbor. So that's great,
Yeah.
right? So if you want to buy that in the Netherlands, you bring 1 million plus for that. But
Yeah.
Madeira, it's possible for 300, 400, 500,000 euros. What still is a lot of money, but it's you have a private house then. Um, but because I wanted to live there permanently on Madeira, I didn't know if it was possible already. So I needed to think about that too. And if there's a garden, yeah, it should be gardened, right? It should be cleaned,
Yeah.
and if you are not there, and if you're not there many months, then it's harder. Um, Something can broke easily with an older house, so you need to
Mhm.
be there more, or have somebody who can stand in for you, to make sure that somebody is getting there. So I think a house wasn't that that's the reason why I decided to not buy a house, but buy an apartment, and a new build apartment. And well, actually not really new build, because new build can take a long time on Madeira. The apartments that I bought in Madeira, with other investors also, um, uh, it has been built for a decade, for 10 years. It took a
Oh,
really long
wow.
time. And
Mhm.
why? Because the first builder started, but he couldn't finish it because he went bankrupt. Then there
Mhm.
was a few years of silence. Nothing happened because uh, there was not really it was not really clear who was the owner of what units, and what units were just air in that time, and what units were already built. So that took a few years, because apparently that wasn't documented really well. And after that, the new constructor could start building, and make sure that the building is finished. So it took 10 years, and uh, I bought it from people who have never lived there. And of course, in 10 years, your family situation is changing. They bought it because they wanted to live with each other and maybe have children, but now they had already children for 7 and 9 years old. So that's
Mm.
that is of course changing what you want. So you have to look into that, if things are really how far is the project.
Mhm.
um, so I could buy it. I had a direct key, um, and that was great. And it was a new built apartment complex, and I don't have a garden. And there is a community of people, or an office who, when something is broken outside the apartment or in the hall or my windows or whatever, they will fix it, because that's necessary when you live with a lot of people under one roof. So I found out that that was the best part, easiest part for me to buy something there. The most safe part felt for me. Yeah.
It's an interesting story that I keep hearing here on Madeira, where buildings are being constructed and mid construction they go bankrupt. It's a quite common thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard it
I've
before.
heard
Yeah.
it many times.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, what I wanted to know though is the how was the interaction with the real estate once they responded? Like, how was their English? Was it smooth? Was it, or could you maybe feel some big differences from the culture compared to the Netherlands?
Well, I think it was comparable. I think it was the same as in the Netherlands. They were open, they were friendly, they want to sell something, and what I found out, what I felt, is that they are really happy that you're from outside Madeira. It's like new money, new chances, but also easier for them to make a price. And what do I mean about that? Is that if you're from outside Madeira, then you can't get a lower price. It's just the price. Even they even try to upgrade the price that they are agreed on their own website. So that's something to think about, because when they think you are from outside Portugal, they think you have a lot of money and they want your money. So that's
Mhm.
exactly what is happening. Um, but of course, that isn't true. It's for in the Netherlands, if you want to buy a house, you can easily go to your bank and ask for a loan, and you can loan 100% of the money you need for that house. So you only need to bring some own money for taxes and extra cost for the house, but you can buy the house through the mortgage from your bank bank. But in Portugal, when you're coming there and you have foreign income, and from outside Portugal income, well, that's a little bit harder. So they and it's not that common to finance it in Portugal 100%. You can finance it 70, maybe 80%, but that's the maximum. So I think that's something that you need to know before you do this. Of course, when you buy a house in Madeira, and you can do that with the extra the room you have in your house in the Netherlands or in Switzerland or wherever you live, and you get an extra mortgage in that country for buying that house in Madeira, of course, then it wouldn't it be a problem. But if you are have to go to a Portuguese bank, it's a little bit harder, I think. Um,
Mhm.
that's what I saw. But
Mhm.
even though um, the real estate agents, yeah, well, they are open, they are nice. Most of them speak quite well English. So yeah, they are open
Yes.
for foreign people. Yeah.
You mentioned a little bit about tax situations and where you're from and citizenship and stuff. At the time when you were looking to buy this apartment, did you think of the benefit of the golden visa? Back then, have you heard of this?
Yeah, I've heard of it, but in the Netherlands, I had an accountancy organization, so I've done a lot with taxes. So it's in my view all the time, right? So I know about that, and So I know about the Golden Visa. Golden Visa was not possible for me because I'm from Europe, and Golden Visa is only possible when you're from outside of Europe. So for the people from Great Britain, it's great.
Mhm.
They can use it, and they use it a lot. They used it so much the last
That they
two,
stopped it.
that they stopped it exactly.
Yes.
Well, temporary. I think they are opening it again. So it's
Oh, interesting.
yeah, it's
Hmm.
interesting. But I can't use that, but I knew about the NHR. Yeah,
Yes.
non-habitual, well, I don't
Residence.
residence
Tax
tax.
regime.
Yeah,
I also never know the name, but it's the tax benefits for expats, basically,
yeah,
or
yeah.
yeah.
And actually, I use that also. I was there. Now there's a new program. I think it started in this year, 2026. But the last program ended, I think, in 2023 or 2024. I'm not sure, but I was just in time. I heard that it was
Mm.
being stopped, and I had 3 months to make sure that I did it, and I did it. I rented a house. I got, well, everything in order to make sure that I got that benefit, and it's a great benefit. You have it for 10 years, and the benefit, I don't know what it is now, but we should ask a tax specialist one day. I think you have a friend from Italy.
Yes.
She knows a
Yes.
lot about it, so we can ask
Exactly.
her. So
Yes.
yeah, but I knew, and that is one of the reasons also why I love Madeira, why I love Portugal, but especially Madeira, but Portugal because of the tax regimes. As a crypto investor, I love to have low taxes on that. And in the Netherlands, it was great. You only paid a small amount over the 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 total amount you have on your savings in your investments. But they're changing that, so that is something people um, are not willing to take, and a lot of people will leave the Netherlands for that. And I see it in
Mhm.
other
Mhm.
countries too, also in Spain. But the Portuguese tax benefits are great, even if you don't have the NHR agreement. Because when you are a crypto investor and you make profit on it, and you have invested for at least 12 months, so every 100 euros you put in, you leave it for, well, 30 months, and then you get it out with profit, you don't pay taxes over that. And that's a big influence. And that's also something, and I think that's worthy to mention, is I don't know the English word for it. It's like I will say it in Dutch and you will know it. Gunning. Do you know gunning? No,
No.
that's a terrible word, right?
Usually it
Yeah,
works
yeah,
with my
yeah.
German, but this time it doesn't work.
Well, it's like, I will explain. It's like, if somebody is nice, you like him or her to have something. You are
Ah,
open.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I can make the connection to the German now.
Okay. Yeah, but
But I also struggle for the English word.
okay, I will dig into it. But
To yeah, you want them to benefit from it,
I want them to
basically.
benefit from it. So
Yeah.
because they gave me something without even asking. It's Google Translate says award, but it isn't awards. But okay, but they gave me something that I didn't do anything for. I didn't vote. I didn't
Mhm.
go to school there. I didn't pay taxes yet. Uh, I don't give. I don't gave anything, but they gave it to me already, and that's why their award is that I'm willing to invest in Madeira. I'm willing to invest in and buy a house, and not only for myself but also for others. And I'm willing to invest to help other people where I can. I know we talked about that in the early stage also. We talked about, okay, what can we do for the local community because they are struggling and how can we help them? And we talked a lot about it, and we will talk about that in another podcast, of course. But that is that's what it does to me when they give me a nice present
Mhm.
in tax benefits.
Mhm. I think
Uh,
it's maybe a reward, not an
a
award.
reward, yeah, maybe.
Yes, a
I
reward.
don't. It feels different, but yeah, maybe it's that is the word. Leave it
Yes.
in the comments if you know the right word. If you're Dutch and you know gunning and you know the English word for that, then please leave it in the comments so we can learn from each other.
Yes. And let's cycle back. We deviated a little bit into tax. And I want to ask you about the difficulties of buying a house or the obstacles that you encountered.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, there are things. Uh, it's Portugal, right? It's and it's especially Madeira. It's not Switzerland. It's not the Netherlands. So things that are obvious in our home countries are not that obvious here. So there are more risks involved. So one of the problems I counted was that you need to have a notary to make the transaction of building the house, but the notary is just doing some registration for you and making sure that everybody is on the table and that they can sign that they are the owner, so they check that. But the the lawyer, he or she, I had a she needs to check everything for you. If the owner he says is the owner is indeed the owner. If there are any other owners, if there are any problems with the land or the apartment or whatever. But what I found out is that there's also trust involved in that because I had much more questions that my lawyer could answer. So at the end, she said, "Yeah, I know, but we, or you do it or you don't. But this is the information we have, and in at the end we have to trust." And what a big difference is that the payments are not going through a third bank account of the notary. So you just pay a direct amount to the seller. And
Hmm.
that's really strange. So we agreed, and that's common in most countries, to pay 10% of the amount for buying the house. In the Netherlands, you do that with a bank guarantee, so you don't pay money. You have a bank guarantee, and the guarantee is that if for whatever reason I'm not buying the house at the date that we should have bought it, then then they can get the 10% of my bank account. But I don't
Mhm.
pay it. But in Portugal, you just need to pay it to the bank account. And well, they can go on the holiday. I don't know if they want they will come there. And of course, you can hire a lawyer and go after that money. But well, um, so a good friend of mine, Andre, he lives in Funchal. I've met him at the Bitcoin conference in Amsterdam, um, and uh, and he was laughing to me because I did a lot of things without a lawyer. And so he said, "Okay, wait, Mark. This it is Europe, but it is more like South America. Watch out. If they can, they will." So,
Mhm.
so with the buying of the apartment, I didn't hire a lawyer. I did everything myself. I trusted in the process. I trusted in the sellers, which I now know that uh, they sold more and they apparently can't be trusted. But well, I expected that they could be trusted, so they were trusted, and they delivered. It's really nice. So that's a difference. So you need to pay the money straight away. You need to pay the rest of the money the day before you go to the notary. That's really strange too. Then you paid a lot of money. to the and that's when you do it with your own money. When there's a bank involved, I know it is different. Then you still need to pay the 10% yourself. You need to pay an extra 10% at least at the notary, or one day before you are at the notary. So 20% of the total amount is gone away from your bank account. That's probably all your money, or a lot of your money. Then, in that case, if you buy a house of 200,000 euros, that's 40,000 euros you're paying then at that moment, and the rest is coming from the bank account. And when it's the bank, then they only pay the day after. No, that's not true. They pay at at the moment at the notary, and they pay it by
Okay.
check. So, and
Hmm.
that's now I remembered, and that's the difference. In Portugal, or at least at Madeira, they work with checks. I don't know if they use it in Switzerland yet, still, but in the Netherlands we don't use it. It's Do you know?
In my experience, it was never common to use it, but I think it exists still.
Okay, well,
But I haven't been there a long time either, so
true. Things changing. Yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah.
But in my awareness, I never saw it as a common thing to
No,
pay
well,
with checks.
in Portugal, it's apparently common. So if I had a Portuguese bank account with enough money on it and more time to arrange all those things with a check, then I could bring the check also to the notary. Not the 10% I
Mm.
needed to pay in front,
Mhm.
but the rest I could uh, do it like this. So I think that's important to know, that it's a little bit different in Portugal than in other countries,
Mhm.
especially the Netherlands and Switzerland.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, that's it, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. You also bought land, so you have experience in buying a house and a new build, and you bought land now, which you want to build something on it. Has there been a difference that you noticed, or is it just the same process, just a different end product?
Yeah, well, it's different for me because I learned a lot about the steps I needed to take for the apartment, and that felt more safe that felt safe as a first step, because it was new, and well, everything I told you just. For the land, of course, it's different. There are rules in Portugal that I wasn't aware of, that changed my stress levels on another level, or brought my stress levels on another level, because I bought land, and the seller was a sick man, who was in his 70s, I think. So he was a little bit older, but he was sick, and he got that land from, I think, his parents when they died, and he kept a small piece of land. He never did something with it, and now he was selling it because, I think, well, he was still here, so they didn't want to do anything with it. Um, but the piece of land where I bought it, there lived was a lot of family of him are still living there, and they were using that land and the other lands around that for propping vegetables and, well, fruits and all kind of things, and they were still using it. So um, I think what is really important in that case is that as a buyer, you think, okay, what can go wrong? Is this common? It's not as simple as it is in maybe many places, that uh, I own the land, so everybody has to keep up of my land, and if they are still on the land, the vegetables are mine and fruit is mine. That's possible, but you have to find that out. So I hired a lawyer. I talked to my good friend Andre again, and he recommended a lawyer, a great person, and she taught me that, well, if people are using the land and they are doing that for many years already, then there's a law in Portugal that that you can't build there. You have to
Oh,
they have their permission to build on that land because they are propping their seats and everything.
but one
So
second. Even after you bought the land?
yeah, even if you
Oh,
have bought the land, the only difference is, and I don't know remember the exact rule. I think if they use it for at least 10 years, something like that.
hmm.
Um, but um, um, uh, because the seller was owning the land for more than 10 years, yeah, that was a good guess that they would already use that land for more than 10 years. So we couldn't
Mhm.
find that out. But you asked me the question about the real estate agents, right? And
Yeah.
and 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 here I found a big difference between the Netherlands, a real estate agent in the Netherlands, and on Madeira specific. The real estate agent that is selling on Madeira a piece of land or a house or whatever, he or she has a good connection with the seller. It's not they know each other, right? They know each other's family, they know each other. That's the way they do business there, right? So um, I was on Madeira on a Friday, and on the Monday we had to go to the notary. And that Friday, I found out that there was a problem with the land because I just went there and saw people working on that land. And I thought, that is strange because I'm buying that Monday and they are uh, working on that land now and not, they were seeding, not uh,
Mhm.
cropping,
Harvesting.
harvesting. They were not
Mhm.
harvesting. So that was a little bit strange. So, so what we did is we called the real estate agent and we said, okay, it can't go through because of this and this problem, and that was in the weekend. And in during the weekend, they worked on a solution for that, and the solution was where my uh, lawyer was also agreed with, that the people would sign that they
Mhm.
would leave the land within 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever. And that's what happened. The real estate agent just went there, looked for the people, and it was not really hard for her because she was family. So she knew
Mm.
all the people who
Mhm.
were working there. And she was just asking to sign the contract, let them see the ID, sign the contract that they would leave the land, and that they understand that there would be a new owner with other rules. Um, so, and that time we could go to the notary. I think it took a little bit longer. Instead, we would be at the notary in the morning, and we went in the afternoon on the Monday. So that was a perfect example how it works on the island. And we talked in the earlier podcast. We talked about how slow things can go, right, with the government and with the rules,
Mhm.
all those kind. And I know that it's true. Um, but what I also know is that if you if you go in person, if you talk to people, then it goes really quick. If you go to
Mhm.
to town hall and you just stay there till the person is who you want to speak, and you speak to her or him, then it's done most of the time within a few hours or a few days. So
Mhm.
I think that's something we have to learn. Email isn't working really well in Portugal, especially with the government or a real estate agent. But calling, texting, WhatsApp, again, we talked about it in the last podcast, I think. Uh, that
Mhm.
are great ways to create things for yourself and for others there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that the difference between buying a finished house versus buying land where you have to be much more involved with the people again.
Mm.
And it's an advantage to then also know some locals, right?
Yeah, true.
Um,
Well,
uh,
that's actually, it was also with the apartment, was actually the same, but I
okay.
because I only didn't notice that when we bought an apartment, but I'm not always in the apartment, right? So and
Mhm.
it's a beautiful apartment, so I think people should use it for vacations, and we have other investors who want to use it. So that's great. Um, but my neighbors didn't agree with that. They were a little bit afraid of what is happening, or actually, one neighbor was a little bit afraid. So, and because we are living on under one roof, of course they need to feel safe, right? It's their house too. It's their building too. Um, and at the beginning, I just push things by email and said, okay, I have a license, and yeah, okay, we will make sure that everything is safe. But then, and I remember this quite well because I think uh, we had a meeting, and I had to I had to cancel that because of there was a meeting in the building
Mhm.
with all the neighbors about um, renting it out to other people. And so I went there and I talked to there with people, and nobody is speaking English at that moment because they didn't want to listen to me and whatever. But I was still there and I stayed there. And the whole meeting was in the Portuguese and I didn't understand anything, but I just was the only thing I was doing was reading body language and
Mhm.
making eye contact with people and just being nice, being a nice neighbor and uh, in 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 the way I could. And and it really helps. And later that day, I made a letter in the Portuguese, and I put it in every post box from my neighbors, and that I explained that we that the guests that we would have, that they would be really nice, and that they would be families, and that they are instructed to be quiet, and that they only can make a booking when they are really well known on the platform they book, and that they're well, everything. And I've never heard anything again. So again, by being personal again and showing yourself and being open, it really helps. Um, Last week or the week before, I don't know, I went with my younger son. I went to the local church. He loves churches. So Sunday morning, the clock was ticking, and I said, "Okay, do you want to go there?" "Yeah, I want to go there." So we both went there. He's 4 years old. It's great to to be influenced with him and be with him. So we went to the church, and we were a little bit early, so the core or the people who are singing, they were just playing around and learning with each other. And after 15 minutes, the church was fully packed. But it was fully packed with a lot of my neighbors, and especially with one of the neighbors who, well, I have, I had, she was one of the persons who didn't like that I was renting it out. And she saw me and she was smiling. And I knew from that moment is that just being there and being
Mhm.
in the community, being part of the community, not only the foreign people, but of the people from outside Madeira, but really being in the community and showing your face, that
Mhm.
brings a lot of positive attention, I think.
Mhm.
And you don't have to, because I couldn't listen to whatever uh, they were saying in the church,
Yeah.
and we went earlier back because my son is 4 years old and he couldn't sit
Yeah.
in a Catholic church for 1 hour. But even though you understand what I mean, I think
Yes, yes.
it's good to be there. Yeah.
Yes. And this experience actually brings me to another question. Oh, and actually, before that, maybe you want to say a few words more about this amazing apartment. And not sure if you want to leave the URL later down in the descriptions.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, of course. People who want to rent the apartment in Machico, the best place, I think, to visit Madeira and to see every part of the island. And you can find it on Madeira Family Apartment .com. There you can easily book or to booking.com or Airbnb. But of course, it's cheaper through the website directly, madeirafamilyapartments.com. And we will put it in, I
Mhm.
don't know, somewhere.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And so my next question was, um, how are the regulations to get an AL or to be rent, like to get the permission to rent out places that you buy? Is
Yeah.
it difficult, or how does this work?
Well, I don't think it's difficult. The rules are really clear. So our friend Dina helped me with this. She sent me the rules, and that really helped. And there are different I think two companies on the islands who are really small companies again, and really helpful, and they help you with everything you need. So you need a fire blanket, you need signs in the apartment or the house. You need a fire powder blosser. How do you call it?
Is
Fire.
distinguisher?
Yeah, that's the word. Thank you. So you need that one. You need well a bandage,
First aid kits,
first aid kit,
right?
that kind of things. And there are other rules, but it's really easy when that's new built because those other rules already are also in the building
Mm.
rules. So if you build
Mhm.
new, then it's easy to get. So for me, it was quite easy. The only hard part was, and that there were my experience, is getting the license. So getting
Mm.
getting it approved. They need to come from town hall to your apartment and see everything. It's not like you make pictures and send it to them and then it's okay. No, you need to show that. And if you're doing this in a time, I did it. I think it was April or something. April, yeah, April of that year. So that's just before the summer, and a lot of people on Madeira are renting out their own house, and they need that license too, right? Um, so there were a lot of applications for that, so they were really busy, and it was really hard. And most of the time, apparently, they visit an apartment or house from town hall, and then it's not complete yet. Um, so in that case, um, even though I got it really quick, but then you really need to go to town hall. That's what I did. I went there already a few times, and every time they said, "Okay, you get an email when we have time. You get an email when we have time." But I don't have the time to wait for that. I wanted to rent it out for that summer. So I went to town hall with my laptop and a big bottle of water. And I said to the concierge, I will stay here till I have spoken to her. And then I was just sitting there. And that really helped because they want to help. They really want to help. But there's something in the culture that is, or actually, well, in town hall culture. I don't know if the total culture, but it's just, yeah. Apparently, maybe it's everywhere, right? When you're dealing with government people, but um, apparently they also wanted to skip you and leave that uh, dossier for later. I can't explain it in another way. But I stayed there and I waited. And of course, they saw that I was not going home before I spoke to her. And then she came, I think, after 40 minutes or an hour. I don't know exactly. She came down because of course, she was in the building. They said she wasn't, but she was. And she said, "Well, you're waiting here for me, and what is going on? And I said, yeah, I want to have a license, and I want you to come to me. And I know that you're only doing this on Thursday, so I want you to come to me on Thursday. Yes, but yeah, but you have to do this, 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 this. Yes, I have everything. I have here. Look, picture, 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 picture. Yeah, do you have this one? No, I had one thing I didn't have. So I was great with that. I went straight away to Funchal where I have to arrange it. It's about a complaint book. You have to have that complaint book. It's in every restaurant, in everywhere. It's everywhere for the. I think especially for the tourists, but there's not a tourist who understands what the complaint book is. But okay,
It's
um,
yeah, it's locals actually like to use it because it's a way to threaten uh, the restaurant or whatever,
yeah,
and everyone talks about it. But the tourists, I don't think it's a thing.
no, no, no. But we you have to put it somewhere where people can see it. But and you can write in the complaint book. Yeah, and then what?
Mm.
You can just tell me if there's a complaint and I will solve it for you. If you write it in a complaint book and then you leave, I can't solve it for you.
Hmm.
But so I don't understand it, but it's important for there. So I bought it. It's I think €10, something like that. Then I bought it and then I had everything. And then I went back and I said, okay, listen, I have it now. Here's the book. Here are the pictures. Please come Thursday. And then she said, okay, I'll let you know. We will try, but we are really busy, blah, blah, blah. And but we will try. And then she didn't text me. She didn't send me a message, but she was with her two colleagues, with three persons. They came in an apartment of 140 square meters to check if everything was okay. And then everything was okay. So it wasn't hard, but you have to be there
Hmm.
again. Be involved. Show yourself. Don't be an email or just a phone number, but make sure that
Hmm.
they see you. And I think then you can create a lot of things. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
So proactive.
absolutely. Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, in a positive way. Be nice. Always be nice and thankful. I bought so much. They call it in the Netherlands stroopwafels. There.
Oh, I love them also.
Yeah, you love them too, and most people
Yes.
love. I bought so many stroopwafels in the Netherlands, and gave it to so many people who were helpful, one way or the other. And sometimes before they were nice to me, and sometimes after they were nice to me. So yeah, so be nice. Yeah.
Amazing. Yes. Okay. Is there anything that I didn't ask and you find important for people to know when they want to buy? Or do you think we covered most of it?
Yeah, I think before you buy, I think you should rent first. Just just know that you want to live there. Before I was buying, I rented it already short term every time, but I rented a lot of times, and the last 3 or 4 times I rented it always in Machico, and that's because I like Machico. But you have to find it out, right? And you can't move that house if you bought it in Machico. You can't move it to Funchal, right? It's really hard. Um, uh, I think it's important to know that um, that it can be helpful that that it's not that you, if they see you, they only think in dollars or in euros, that you can pay a lot of money. Let them know that you are just as struggling as they are, but you're interested, and you have the possibility to buy something. So I think that's something you can be open for, because they suspect a lot of things, and most of the time it's, of course, it's not true. It's just what they think about people who are coming from outside Madeira. So I think that's important to know. Um, if you buy something, I would still buy new things. Um, uh, I'm uh, I'm also buying an apartment in another apartment in Machico that still needed to be built. Um, and that goes really slow. And we were already talking about that a lot of constructors uh, went bankrupt. Well, this uh, person who is selling, he has the land with his family, and he wants to build an apartment complex there, and we want to buy those apartments or a few of those apartments. Um, but it didn't happen. Nothing was built for already a year, and now I spoke to him a few weeks ago, and he told me that his contractor went bankrupt. So
Mm-hmm.
so so maybe better to buy something that is already finished, or you are really trust, especially with apartments. I think this is really important with apartments. With houses, it's not a problem. It's a small project most of the time. But with the apartment complex, I think you can better buy something that's already been built. Yeah,
Okay. Thank
I think that
you,
this is it.
Mark.
And if
Yes,
there are any
yes.
questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them as soon as I'm seeing this. And yeah.
Yes, I think this was very insightful, even for me. Like I knew a little bit, but I learned a lot as well. And again, thank you for watching. If you have any questions around housing, apartments, buying land, Mark is ready to help out with that. Comment in the just below the video. And if you enjoyed this episode, like, subscribe, and join us next time. And until then, stay curious as always, and maybe a little bit more in love with Madeira. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.